Let me know what you think about this, right? I said, becoming an adult is realizing that magic doesn't exist, and at the same time acknowledging how much more amazing a world without magic is. So, what I kind of mean by that is the first part saying becoming an adult is realizing that magic doesn't exist. So as a child, you kind of come into the world with endless possibilities. Your imagination is running on full blast. Your parents, if you have decent parents, kind of give you some leeway, some freedom to explore your imagination, to kind of dream about whatever you want to be. Like, oh, I'm going to become an astronaut. I'm going to become the president. I'm going to change the world. And your parents, if you have decent, good parents, kind of give you the freedom to be like, yes, you are going to be a doctor. Yes, you are going to be this X, Y, Z, whatever you want to be, right? And when I grew up, I grew up in a household where Santa was real. I grew up in a household where my parents did their best to make it seem like they weren't the one that set up the tree and got the presents and all that. They were like, yo, Santa. And I'm like, Santa? Really? It's like, yeah, Santa. So I feel like when you're younger, especially your parents, the adults in your life, create a lot of like safety guards. You ever went bowling? Like how the bumpers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like your parents basically creates bumpers for life, so that way you always are like, the ball is always hitting the pins, right? I think adulthood is when the bumpers come down and you realize, oh shit, I can't keep just bouncing it off the things. You gotta pick a path and go straight with it. And I feel like that could be very jarring. You talked about the college experience, and it's like the college experience, I think, is for most people is probably their first real introductory to like what it's going to be like to be an adult, right? Because you're living on your own. You gotta feed yourself. You gotta take care. You gotta do your laundry. You gotta like deal with other human beings without the safeguards of the advice of your parents or support. Mm-hmm. So I think for a lot of people, it's very easy to become to romanticize what childhood was like, because it's just freedom to like just explore whatever you want. Everything was possible. Your parents took care of everything. You weren't stressed about it. It was just like boom. And then you come into this world where you could go to prison. Like you could
be a parent.
A lot of stuff can happen to you that you just like, you have to like, it almost feels like you have to be on top of it. And that's when the magic disappears, when you realize like, oh shit, like things don't just happen. Like you start looking at, I started looking at my parents like, dang, you're valuable. You're valuable. Like you're faulty. Like I as a younger thing, I didn't think about like how the light bills was going to get paid for. I wasn't thinking about like how the rent and the mortgage was going to get paid for. It just got taken care of, and you're just like, but now as an adult, I see my parents talk about how they handle bills and how they're going to deal with stuff, and you're just like, dang, it might not work out this month. And that's and so that's when you realize like, dang, the magic is gone. But then you're like, whoa. So you mean to tell me you've been holding all this stuff up without magic? And that's when it made me think like, oh man, it's so much more amazing that we exist in this world. Like, oh, things don't just come into reality because you want them to come into reality. It's like you actually have to work with people, put effort in, develop skills and everything. And so that to me is more amazing, because magic is like snap my fingers and things just happen, right? But for things to be happening without the ability to snap your fingers and things to happen, I find that more amazing. I almost want to say it's more magical, but that doesn't quite make sense, right? But
no, I get you saying. Yeah.